Last few weeks, I have talked about what goes wrong with AI governance, the agentic shift that nobody had a plan for, the accountability paradox, the compliance infrastructure that was never built, the EU AI Act obligation that are now live, the shadow AI that is sitting inside most organizations, ungoverned and invisible. Today, I want to talk about what goes right. Because the organizations that get AI governance right are not just avoiding fines and regulatory action. They are building something that their competitors cannot easily replicate: a trust infrastructure, a governance capability, a demonstrated ability to deploy AI at scale with evidence, with accountability, and with the confidence that comes from knowing exactly what your AI systems are doing. This is the final episode of Season 1 special Veridian sessions. I'm Magdalene. And today, I want to paint a picture of what good AI governance actually looks like and why it is one of the most significant competitive advantages available to regulated organizations right now. So I want to start by challenging the framing that most organizations bring to AI governance. The conventional view is that governance is a cost, a compliance burden, a set of boxes to tick before you are allowed to do the interesting work. It is the thing that slows you down, that legal insists on, that the regulator requires, necessary but not valuable. That framing is wrong. And the organizations that have already figured that out are moving faster than their peers, not slower. Think about what happened with cloud adoption. In the early 2010s, many organizations resisted moving to the cloud because of security concerns. Then, a cohort of organizations invested in cloud security infrastructure, achieved ISO 27001 certification, completed SOC 2 audits, and something interesting happened. Those certifications became commercial assets. Enterprise clients started requiring them in procurement. Board conversations about cloud shifted from "is this safe?" to "when are we doing this?" AI governance will follow the same path. The organizations that can demonstrate, not just claim, but demonstrate that their AI systems are regulated, classified, monitored, and evidenced will win enterprise contracts that require it, regulatory approval that depends on it, and the confidence of boards and customers who increasingly expect it. Trust is the bottleneck in enterprise AI adoption, not technology. Trust. And trust is built with evidence, not assertions. I want to give you a practical framework for what good AI governance looks like. 5 principles. They are not complicated, but they require deliberate infrastructure to make them real. So the first principle is visibility. You cannot govern what you cannot see. Every AI system your organization deploys, built by your team, bought from a vendor, embedded in a platform, or discovered operating in the shadows must be registered, documented, and known. The AI inventory is not an administrative task. It is the foundation of everything else. The second principle is classification. Not all AI systems carry the same risk. Good governance applies proportionate oversight, the right level of scrutiny for the actual risk. This means understanding your regulatory obligations across the EU AI Act, DORA, GDPR, and CRA, and knowing which framework applies to which system. The third principle is continuous monitoring. Governance is not an annual audit. A system that was compliant in January can drift into non-compliance by March, silently, without an error message, simply because the world changed and the model did not. Good governance is continuous. It watches and it alerts when something changes. The fourth principle is human accountability. Somewhere in every AI decision chain, a human must be accountable. The EU AI Act is explicit about this. Article 14 requires meaningful human oversight for high-risk systems, not oversight in name. Oversight in practice. Good governance names who is responsible, and it gives them the tools to exercise that responsibility and documents that they have done so. The fifth principle is evidence. Good governance generates proof, not policies, not intentions, immutable, time-stamped, auditable evidence of what happened, when it happened, who was responsible, and what was done about it. Evidence that can withstand a regulatory review. Evidence that says, we govern this. Here is the record. So let me paint a concrete picture of what these 5 principles look like inside a well-governed organization, not in 2030, now in 2026, with the tools and frameworks that already exist. Every AI system is registered in a central inventory, not just the ones IT knows about. Every system, including the co-pilot agents the product team deployed last month, the third-party risk model the finance team has been running for 2 years, and the customer-facing chatbot that went live in Q1. All of them visible, documented, known. Every system is classified by risk tier with the specific regulatory obligations that apply, mapped clearly. The CISO knows which systems are high risk under the EU AI Act. The compliance team knows which systems are in scope for DORA. The data protection officer knows which systems process personal data. That information is in one place, current and accessible, not in 3 separate spreadsheets maintained by 3 separate teams. High-risk systems have conformity assessments completed before deployment. They have human oversight mechanisms that are genuine. When the person responsible has the information and the authority to intervene when something goes wrong. They are monitored continuously with drift alerts going to the right team. When something does go wrong, when a system drifts, when an incident occurs, when a regulator asks a question, the evidence is there. Not because someone scrambled to produce it, because it has been building continuously since the system was first registered. The Article 73 Serious Incident Report is generated from documentation that already exists. The answer to the regulator's question is a retrieval exercise, not a reconstruction effort. And the compliance team is not spending more time on governance. They are spending less because the infrastructure is doing the work. The monitoring is automated. The evidence packs are generated. The alerts go to the right people. The compliance team is spending their time on the things that require human judgment, not on manually updating spreadsheets. That organization is also deploying AI faster than its competitors, not despite its governance infrastructure, because of it. Because every new AI system moves through a known, trusted process. Because the board is comfortable approving AI deployment at scale. So I want to close this series with something direct. The EU AI Act is not the end of enterprise AI. It is the beginning of enterprise AI done properly. The organizations that treat it as a burden will fall behind. The organizations that treat it as an opportunity to build trust infrastructure, to demonstrate to their customers and regulators and boards that they govern AI with the same rigor they bring to financial controls and data security, those organizations will lead. I have spent the last year building Veridian because I believe that AI governance is not optional infrastructure. It is the thing that makes everything else possible. It is what allows you to say yes to AI deployment with confidence rather than anxiety. It is what allows your board to understand the risk, not just worry about it. It is what allows your customers to trust that the AI systems making decisions about them are being watched, governed, and held accountable. That is not a compliance story. That is a leadership story. And the leaders who understand that, who see governance not as a constraint on what they can build, but as the foundation that makes it sustainable, those are the leaders who will define what enterprise AI looks like for the next decade. So this is the final episode of the special Veridian seasons as part of the season 1 Anaiya algorithm. If this series has been useful, if it has given you a clearer picture of the landscape, the regulation, the risk, and what good governance actually looks like, then the best thing you can do is to share it with someone who needs to hear it. A CISO who is trying to build the case for governance infrastructure, a CRO who is thinking about AI risk for the first time, a CEO who needs to understand why this matters to their organization. That is what this show is all about. That is what the show is here for. Veridian is live on the Microsoft Azure Marketplace today. Starter, growth, and enterprise tiers. No enterprise contract required. You can register your first AI system the same day you subscribe, and the link is in the show notes. And if you want a conversation about what AI governance looks like for your organization specifically, or to talk about AI solutions or AI strategy, my inbox is open. Connect with me on LinkedIn or visit anaiya.org. Thank you for listening to the Anaiya algorithm. Season 2 is coming soon. Until then, keep leading intentionally. Thank you.